for Latino Tax Pro. We have a live show today. We have Calliope and Megan from Receipt Bank. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, everything's great. It's so good to connect with you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Hi. Are you on the East Coast? Because I think Receipt Bank's like a global company, correct?
Yeah, great question. So we're based in Washington, D.C., and we have 6 offices globally. So we've got a pretty big spread.
Nice. Cool. I know you prepared some slides. Before we get into that, so that people start trickling in, you want to let them know what you do, Calliope, and then maybe you, Megan, and then a little bit about Receipt Bank and how it could help them and their clients.
Of course, yeah. So I'm Calliope Vlastos. I'm the general manager for Receipt Bank in the US. And Receipt Bank, in its simplest form, helps accountants and bookkeepers to have better relationships with their clients. So we kind of handle a lot of the manual processes so that you can have more substantive interactions with your clients. And so I'll get a lot more into that, of course. And I asked Megan Brown to join the call as well, because she's one of our product experts here. So in case there are more specific questions, she'll be able to delve into the functionality a little bit.
Cool. Perfect. We have somebody already came in saying hello from San Diego. Her name's Marina. So for everybody watching and tuning in, like and comment and share this with your friends. Let us know if you use Receipt Bank. I know a few of you already use it, or maybe you use something similar. So let us know what you use, if you're happy with it, if you're not, questions and comments, and then I'll let Calliope know about them. Cool. With all that said, go ahead and take it away and let's look at those slides.
Awesome. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, you guys. Alberto, if you can just confirm that you can see it, that'll be great.
Yep, looks great.
Okay. So kicking off here, I'll just intro myself a little bit. Oops. We're not progressing here. Hold on. Let me just stop sharing and see what's up with these.
Yeah, some technical difficulties. It happens all the time.
Let's try this again.
All right.
Okay, and are you able to see the slides still?
Yeah, see the slides.
Okay. All right, so I'll just give a bit of background on me. As I already mentioned, I'm the general manager of Receipt Bank. And one of the things that I wanted to point out is I actually studied abroad throughout Latin America. So it holds a special place in my heart. I traveled throughout Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Mexico. So I've traveled quite a bit in Latin American countries, both in college and then just personal travel. And so I'm really excited to be connecting more with this community and see if we might be able to help you guys with, some of the challenges in your day-to-day. I know that these are really exceptional and unique times that we're all going through. And sort of apart from the first line responders, accountants and bookkeepers are really some of the superheroes of this COVID-19 era, because you guys are doing so much to help the small business community to get back on their feet and to understand, what programs they can take advantage of, and to do that really quickly so that they're able to keep business going. And that's what we've really been focused on at Receipt Bank for the last few weeks here, is how do we help our partners keep business going, because you are that extension to the greater community. So, we're so appreciative of all the efforts that everyone is doing, and excited to tell you a little bit more about Receipt Bank and see if maybe this can be a good efficiency tool and compliance tool in your toolkit. And I told Alberto this, but feel free to interrupt or ping him with questions as we're going. I really want this to be a dialogue and to make sure we're touching on the points that are relevant to you. All right, so who exactly are we? What is Receipt Bank? So if you haven't heard of us before, we're actually the world's leading digital bookkeeping tool. We integrate seamlessly with the leading ledgers, from QuickBooks to Xero and Sage as well, so you can get data faster to deliver even more value to your clients. So a few high level numbers here. We work with over 350,000 businesses globally and over 50,000 accountants and bookkeeping firms. This number here, 10 million receipts processed per month, that is a really important number because the way our technology works is by a machine learning algorithm. So every receipt that we process, our technology gets smarter and smarter and smarter. And that's how we're able to maintain that level of accuracy over 99% from that extraction of the receipt data. So I'll touch a little bit more on that, but our whole mission is to empower the bookkeeper, empower the accountant to be able to do a lot more with their time than these manual elements of your role. So a little bit more about why our partners, and we call our clients partners because that's really how we feel about them, that's what they are to us, is our platform was purpose built for accountants and bookkeepers and their clients. There is a whole portal that is specific to you as the accountant so that you sort of have a command center of what is going on within each of your client accounts, a high level overview so that you can really zero in and make sure that things are classified correctly and that everything is functioning as it should be with that specific client. I mentioned before, we have over 99% accuracy of data extraction. That's critical. There is a significant difference between percentages when you're dealing with financial data, because as you know, 1 0, 1 decimal point in the wrong space makes a big difference for that client and for their potential tax implications or compliance implications down the road. We help your practice run more smoothly with smart automation and efficiency focused tools, which I'll talk about a little bit more and give you some insights into. In the whole idea, again, so you can have better relationships with your clients. We want to remove as much friction from the process as possible so that it's just, it's kind of functioning seamlessly in the background. I put this slide in here just so you could get a sense of how much bookkeeping has evolved over time. And you'll see the original way of doing bookkeeping was an abacus, this really ancient tool for keeping track of data. And slowly over time that turned into kind of an analog calculator and then a digital calculator and cash register. And then just in the last decade, it has exponentially improved in terms of the technology not only bookkeepers and accountants have access to, but their clients have access to. And so it's critical that we as accountants and bookkeepers keep up with the technology so that we can serve an ever-evolving market. Future-proofing the process. So I'm going to go into a little bit of detail here as to how ReceiptBank actually works. And I describe ReceiptBank as a technology that can be as simple or as sophisticated in its implementation as you need it to be. And so here we'll talk about the simplest implementation, which is the ability for your clients to simply capture a photo of a receipt, and ReceiptBank will automatically begin extracting that financial data from the receipts and storing it securely in the ReceiptBank cloud where it can be prepared for pushing and publishing into the general ledger. One of the things that's so impressive and fantastic about the Latino community is that it has faster and more widespread adoption of mobile technology than the rest of the US population. I think it's like 8% more penetrated, which is actually quite significant. So in general, this community is just faster to adopt and therefore is better positioned to leverage tools that their clients already have in their back pocket and are very receptive to. So once you snap a photo, ReceiptBank begins extracting all of that data. Here's a bit more insights as to what actually happens on the back end. So, we covered getting the financial data, those source documents from your clients. And now this is the power of the automation on the back end that you have access to. So what you're looking at here, this is actually like a receipt from, it's like the Verizon of Australia. This happens to be an Australian receipt. And so what happens here is once that source document is in the system, ReceiptBank will extract the financial data from it. And then here you can begin categorizing it and preparing it to publish into the GL. So one thing that is so fantastic is, Receipt Bank will actually start learning from how you classify your receipts in the past. So Telstra or Verizon, for example, is almost always going to be classified in the exact same way. So it's going to ask you, do you want this to be classified the same way moving forward? So that's one less thing that you have to do, but one less classification for every single client over time builds up to create a lot more time and bandwidth for you to focus on other things.
Okay, Calliope, we have a question here.
Sure.
Um, th- they're asking if Receipt Bank, so it automatically connects to a bank. Can they use any bank?
Great question. So we use a third-party API or connector through a company called Plaid that gives us access to thousands of different banking partners. So it's most likely if your bank has online banking, then we can connect to it through our platform.
I got it. And then are they saying, is it difficult to connect, or is it just like logging in with your username and password?
Exactly that. So it's a pretty simple yet secure authentication, both to the general ledgers as well as to your bank. So you'll need to log in with the proper credentials, and once you've done that, it's connected, and we can start pulling in those bank feeds.
Cool, perfect. And we have somebody saying hello from Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, Sebas, hi.
Cool. All right, that's all we got for now.
Okay. All right, and so you really want to think about Receipt Bank as your online archive. We store everything for up to 10 years. So your compliance is going to be guaranteed in that sense. Literally, the moment your client snaps a photo of the receipt through the Receipt Bank mobile app, they can discard that receipt. They don't need it any longer because it will be securely stored in here for you in a database that is searchable, secure, and compliant. So that searchable element is critical because there are going to be moments when you need to, retrieve a certain source document, or there's an item in question that you maybe need to ask your client about. And so that is going to be a much, much, much faster process than digging through folders of documentation or even online folders of documentation. And here's a little bit of a snapshot of what that looks like. So you can see you can get incredibly granular with your search capabilities if you have like a date range or an amount to pinpoint that item and grab it as soon as possible so that you don't spend half a day looking for a particular receipt. Staying connected with your clients. So I mentioned before, we'll talk about the simplest implementation of Receipt Bank. Now I want to talk about some of the other ways that we call submission methods to get those source documents into Receipt Bank. Because snapping a photo of the receipt is just, the first and the most basic and sort of what we built our platform on. But what I love about Receipt Bank is we evolve over time as well. So we're constantly innovating and adding more features and functionality. And so in addition to being able to submit documents through the mobile app, you can also submit them in bulk by dragging and dropping a folder in or integrating with Dropbox so that you can add a ton of items all at once. I know that that's really valuable right before tax time or, in this new era of PPP, if you need to upload a lot of documents at once, you can certainly do that. Dedicated email. So this is the ability that if you get your email to receipt, you can send it to a specific email address that we give you access to and that you can actually customize within Receipt Bank so that as soon as we get emailed that transaction, that receipt, we begin extracting that data from it. So another method to just automate the process, you can set up an email rule that every time you get your Verizon bill or something, or Amazon is a great example there, that we start extracting that financial data. And this last one here, auto fetch, this is a great one as well, where we have access to over 2,000 suppliers where we can actually fetch their invoices. So Amazon and Verizon are great examples where the moment a transaction happens or a receipt is received, we pull that data automatically into Receipt Bank. So your client doesn't even have to worry about sending it to you via email, through the mobile app, any other way. It's automatically captured. So you're not having to chase them up and say, I know you had a mobile bill this month. Can you please send it to me? So those interactions with your clients become a lot more consultative and advisory versus hey, I'm waiting on your receipts this month. A few ways in which we're improving and increasing efficiency within your practice in your firm is, submission through the app is at least 4 times faster than paper, right? Instead of you manually coding and entering this information into your GL directly or a spreadsheet, whatever you're using, it's going to be much faster and it's going to be a lot more accurate, because what's really unique about Receipt Bank is, yes, we use machine learning to pull that data, but there's also a human element as well. So for receipts that are flagged as potentially questionable or especially challenging to pull all of the data from machine learning, we actually have a human element who goes in there and spot checks it and makes sure that it's accurate. This middle one, so raising the ratio of bookkeeper to client, super important, right? So everyone is being asked to do more with a lot less right now. And so as a bookkeeper and as an accountant, you need the ability to take on more clients without necessarily increasing your overhead. And that's what this is going to allow you to do, is to just extend your own resources by using technology instead of more people. So it's going to save you a lot of time. And again, it's going to improve those relationships that you have with your clients, because they're used to using their phones all the time, every day. So it's just going to become part of their normal process. Integrations. So integrations are super important to us. We know that by having the best integrations and the most seamless connections to these general ledgers, we're going to make your jobs a lot easier. And so these are some of the different softwares that we connect to. So I mentioned Xero and QuickBooks, Sage Accounting as well. But we know that a lot of your clients are likely on Bill.com or Gusto. And so we have integrations to both of those platforms as well. So you can do things like, pull those source documents into Bill.com, and also with Gusto, make sure you're reimbursing for expense reports, because Receipt Bank also has an expense reporting module. So if you don't want to pay for a Concur and Expensify, some of these really expensive softwares, because you're working primarily with small, medium businesses, small, medium enterprises, then they can handle all of their expense reporting needs right within the Receipt Bank platform. And sort of to wrap up here, I like to point out this slide because Receipt Bank really is designed for disaster protection. We could never have predicted this kind of disaster that we're in, but more commonly, audit protection, fraud protection, just making sure that you have all of the right documentation securely stored is so critical. So in this new era that we're in with COVID and these PPP loans, this is becoming increasingly more important, because a lot of these businesses that have received these loans are actually afraid to spend the money, because they know that they need to be properly tracking all of their expenses, and they're not sure, what can I spend this money on? So a tool like Receipt Bank becomes that much more valuable, because everything is tracked for audit purposes to ensure that they don't have to repay that loan. And that's like a really intimidating thing that small businesses are going through right now is, great, now I've got this money, but I need to make sure that I spend it in a way that I don't have to repay this loan. And so Receipt Bank can play a big role for your client and for you in making sure that they're completely compliant in that scenario. And in general, moving forward, making sure that they're running compliant practice, so that when you go to do the taxes for them later, that they're getting the maximum possible refund, or they're paying the least amount of tax, because everything is tracked down to the penny. And so with that, I'll share a little bit about what we can do as a potential next step. If you're interested, if you think that this could potentially benefit your firm, we've got a team of people like Megan on our end who are happy to provide actual demos and educate you a lot more on how it could work specifically for your firm, because not all firms are the same, and we certainly understand that. And so we're offering a 30-day trial for anyone who's interested in really testing it out, as well as an offer specific to the Latino Tax Pro community, which you'll be getting via email. So yeah, I'm happy to take any other questions that you guys have with the time that's remaining.
Yeah, people were saying, does this work with all accounting softwares? Um, I think they might use Zero. Does it work with Zero?
Yeah, great question. Absolutely. So we have a seamless integration with Zero. So while Zero is not massively popular in the US, it
Hmm.
is globally. And so we are a global company. So we have a really great, strong integration with Zero as well.
Cool. They're saying, what about Sage?
Yep, also with Sage. I should mention that we integrate with all of the online versions of these general ledgers. Zero only has an online version. But if you do have clients on a desktop, we're actually working on a desktop integration through Right Networks. So at least to start, they would
Mhm.
need to be hosted on Right Networks. But we're going into a testing period with that literally right now.
Okay, we have a question from one of our members. They're saying, how do I get my small business clients to actually start taking pictures of their receipts?
Yeah, great question. I'm gonna let Megan tackle that one because she does this implementation all day, every day.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people get concerned about. Like, how do I really roll this out
Yes.
to my clients to get them using it? We have a lot of resources around that. We have videos walking them through it. I often suggest that they send them a submission method cheat sheet, which we've created for them, explaining the different ways that they can submit items to their account. So we have lots of resources about training your clients to use the product.
Perfect.
The other thing that I'll add there is while Receipt Bank is purpose built for accountants and bookkeepers, we also have a direct product. And so we have tons of small, medium businesses that purchase Receipt Bank just on their own without, ever intending to potentially use it with their accountant or with their bookkeeper. So that's like an important proof point, is to
Mhm.
say, this is valuable, even if I'm not interacting with it with your business. For the expense reporting and just for like organizing themselves. So
That's cool. So there's people that are not accountants and bookkeepers using this product because it's great, probably helps them solve their pain points.
exactly.
Mhm. Cool. So we have Apolinar Chega Ramos is asking a 30 days trial, and then how much is the cost after that? Is it monthly or annually?
Yeah, great question. So the price point is dependent on the number of clients that you would get started with and the type of plan that you want to move forward. So we've got different tiers of plans. So you can get started with as little as $20 a month per client.
Hmm. Cool. So it depends on how many clients they have, right? And probably users and all that stuff.
Exactly, the level of onboarding support.
Mhm.
And so that's why a great next step, if you're interested, is to speak with one of our new partner consultants, and they'll be able to advise on what's the best plan for you.
Cool. Well, perfect. Thanks, Calliope. Thanks, Megan. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Before we leave, Calliope, is there any last words you want to let the people know about?
I think this has been great. Look, this is our first time
Mhm.
connecting with this community and doing one of these lives.
Mhm.
So the most important thing for me would be to, just share your feedback with Alberto. If there's other things that we could have touched on that would have been more valuable or beneficial, let us know, because we're happy to tailor these moving forward. But thank you all for, all of your efforts, especially during COVID times. And, we'll look forward to connecting with you more.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right. All right. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.